That's right. The VOD will be available afterwards. How's everybody's Saturday morning going? Or Saturday night? Or Saturday afternoon? Whatever it is for you. Sandwiches are good, man. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. What up, JR? $2 p.m. sounds like Britain. Which, whether or not you specifically are from Britain, John, or in Britain, probably someone is. I'm just gonna say, I've been using my VPN to get on the BBC to watch some soccer matches, footy, whatever. And last night's game between Argentina and Cape Verde was only radio. They didn't actually have the cameras on it. Why? I know it's the middle of the night for y'all, but what the hell? It's football. I thought that was supposed to be the thing that you just do 24 hours on when it's something like this. I couldn't believe it was only radio. Oh, what other network? Where else should I be looking? Like, I know of the existence of other networks in the UK, but I don't know how to get to them. ITV, okay, I'll look that up if that happens again. Because I'm sitting there, like, listening to Cape Verde coming back on Argentina, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to be able to see this while it's happening. This is actually interesting as a radio thing, but I want to be able to see it as it's happening. Oh my god. The dude on the BBC was losing his mind. And British guys losing their mind doesn't seem to happen very often. But he's losing his mind on how good the one dude's shot was. And I'm just like, video, please. Video. Emmerdale sounds like something, just from the name of it, that I'm not gonna like, but what is Emmerdale? Oh, I saw the highlight. It was an insane goal. Jonathan, it will be fairly self-explanatory once we get started. I'm just trying to get partway through my sandwich so that I have some energy for the actual start of the tier list. Oh, I should have the little me avatar going. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, that sounds so wholly not up my alley. Like, oh, what is Mr. In Between? That's like a quote-unquote as close to a soap opera as I'm gonna get into. And I know it's Australian, and I know the difference. But I can't think of anything from Britain like that. So, Wakatakakage, well, we'll get to him, but I'll mention this quickly. As far, cause Antoka brings this up. If you're just predicting how many wins you think he'll get, yeah, like, figure he, like, given the news, he might just have 0 because he may not fight. But the tier list is based on what you think they'll do if they're in all 15 days. Now, if you think he's going to be in all 15 days and go, like, 6 and 9, fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. But that clarification for anybody who was not aware. Because we are going to have some votes to split for the votes on the forum that were pretty close. We'll do votes for those of you who haven't been here before. But you'll see how that all works. All right. Yeah, Onosato. Who knows? Who really knows at this point? But, all right. I am fueled to an extent. So welcome to the community tier list. We are going to get started. If you are new here, then very simply, we take the results of the tier list form right here, and then we plop them into the tier list itself, like so. Hoshoryu, I'll flip back. Hoshoryu. 54.8% went A+, 10 to 12 wins. So we're just going to go Hoshoryu goes into A+. Now, if anybody's got, like, a specific opinion on Hoshoryu, this is the time. But see, I always feel like the Yokozuna needs the most attention, or should get the most attention outside of special cases, and yet, what are we supposed to say? His leg is obviously not okay. He just started light training. He's not going at it with, like, anybody of his level. He's at least beating third-tier teammates, unlike Onosato. And he'll probably grit through the tournament. If he's well enough to get through the tournament, I think he'll do fine. But, I mean... Right. Hoshoryu's Oyakata said he's not in great form, and that's, the Yokozuna are where the tier list rule about 15 days does get a little wonky, because if they're struggling a little, they'll drop out, right? But it still works for the other 40 guys. But yeah, I am kind of curious how it's gonna go, because if he starts out okay, he'll probably stick with it and be fine. Like, is it actually an active problem, or is it just a little bit weak? Because that is definitely an issue after a major, like a serious hamstring pull. You can absolutely be quote unquote healthy, like it can do what it needs to do, but it's just not strong enough to handle any kind of strain. Yeah, and see, this might be the luckiest Yokozuna run in the history of sumo. Like, it really might. This is getting a little crazy. So Hoshoryu, A+, that one, I had him there. Jason had him at S, which is, I mean, that was before the news, so it is what it is. But yeah, we'll see how that all goes. Next up, we've got Onosato, and this one is just a split. Like, we're gonna leave out B tier. There's not quite enough people on B tier, but it's almost dead even between A+ and A-. By the way, 116 responses is awesome, and I appreciate that from y'all. So, for, I think it was Jonathan, and anyone else who's new, here's what we're gonna do. I am creating a poll where you're going to have the options of 10 to 12 wins or 9 to 11 wins. And we're going to vote. And then whichever side takes the vote, that poll is going up now. Whichever side takes the vote becomes the community's choice. So the form is to set the baseline. And when the form is a little too close to call, then the chat decides. Thank you, Connor. Well, okay, Kotoshoho actually beat everybody, though. Like, let's be real. Kotoshoho, he went on a run, but everybody was in the tournament. Also, Kotoshoho winning another Yusho would be freaking phenomenal. If he went 13-2 again, if Kotoshoho gets on a genuine Ozeki run, I'm gonna lose my mind. Because everyone else is gonna be like, Kotoshoho Ozeki, go! He only needs 11 wins. It's like, bro, he's not getting 11 wins next time. There's no way he's doing it. He's gonna fall just short, and a lot of people are gonna be like, he was so close, and it's like, no, he wasn't. I mean, numerically, maybe, but he's not getting there. All right, well, A- is absolutely destroying right now, so that's pretty much... I don't think we need a whole lot of votes on that one. I know I didn't give a lot of time, but that's a blowout. Onosato to A-. Stinelin? Anyway, if I said that, you probably know who I'm talking about. It is, so if you go to the search on YouTube and you just look up copyright lo-fi or copyright free lo-fi, it's one of the first results. It's great stuff. I used it last time. I just picked up where I left off. See, Lurker, if he was anybody else, I'd agree. But he's a Yokozuna, and since we're doing this as, what's he gonna do if he stays in the whole time? it's hard to go below A-, because if he's doing worse than that, he'll probably just leave the tournament. I think I said, what was my example on the tier list? He'll go like 8-3, and at that point he won't drop out, but then he'll have to face the toughest guys left, and then he might lose 3 out of 4. Like, that feels like a worst case scenario. I'm not sure if I could see a realistic path for Onosato to stay in the whole time and only get 8 wins, I might consider B tier, but I just don't. I think anything worse, anything that's not at least getting him to 9, probably leads to him leaving. I think the odds, NC, of him not competing at all are pretty low unless we get to the eve of the tournament and he's still a mess. The fact that he fought through the injury to the degree that he did already, not wisely, by the way, would definitely suggest that he and Nishonoseki are of a mind to get him in the tournament because a Yokozuna should be fighting, if at all possible, blah, blah, friggin' blah. He probably should sit out again. He really should. Like, it's dumber to step in, try to play your Yokozuna role for 5 days, and then be like, I can't do it, than to just sit out. Nothing good comes of being in for those few days, because you're just gonna lose, feed some guys some wins, and like throw off the balance of the tournament, right? Because those guys at the top that you fight should be the ones that are in contention for the U show. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna try. I feel like if your choices are he fights all 15, he fights some but not all 15, and he doesn't fight at all, the most likely one by far is the middle option. Awesome, Jason. Hey, good to see you here. Thanks for swinging by. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Lost. Yeah, Yokozuna not a sportsman, but an obligation. That is true. Like, it is different than a champion in any other sport. And I get that, and I'm trying to keep that in mind. But at the same time, I think there is an obligation, and they may not see it this way, and I understand that. But to me, it feels like part of the obligation of being a Yokozuna is to show up when you are in fighting shape. Like, when you are there, it should be because you are expecting to dominate. And I don't know how Onosato could be viewed in that light right now. If he joins this tournament, it's gonna be because he's like, I gotta see what I can do. I gotta fight because I'm a Yokozuna and I need to be out there. But that feels worse to me. That seems like what... Again, you're just throwing off the balance of the tournament. You're handing out gold stars like M&Ms at a doctor's office. Stop it. Show up when you're ready. Okay, that's Onosato. Let's move along to Kirishima, the potential Yokozuna, which that was not on my bingo card for this year. We've got him at a pretty clear A+, 10 to 12 wins. That is the dominant response. Kirishima to A+. I mean, I have him there. Seems fair. I don't think he's getting 13. He needs a minimum of 13. No, a 12-3 U show. Let's bear this in mind. 12-3 U show's not getting him there. They already have 2 Yokozuna. I know they're beat up, but there's no way that they could say he needs an exceptionally good U show and then give it to him on a 12-3. Not happening. And I don't know how he gets 13 wins. Like, there have been so many times like every tournament this year, he probably should have had 13 wins, but he didn't, because he takes losses that are really, if he was at that level, he wouldn't be taking them. And I know Hoshoryu hands this fucking gold stars out like crazy too sometimes, but he's not. Yeah, Kiri, I enjoy Kiri. I am not hating on Kiri, but man, sometimes watching him get beat up by the really physical dudes is like, man, you just have Perma Ozeki written all over you. Honestly, John, when they first announced it, I thought it was going to be a 14-1. And the only reason I'm thinking a 13-2 will get there is because the JSA and the YDC have both seemed to indicate that they realize that it's harder now. Like, this is not an era of Zen shows. This is not an era of 14-1 champions. 13-2 is a legitimately good U show these days. So I think that for that reason, 13-2 will get it done, because a 13-2 is actually sort of unusual now. And you gotta meet the sport where it's at. As much as maybe it seems like they don't do that, I think in this case they will. The idea that Kiri is healthy, just watching him struggle with injuries for so long and then just show glimmers of what he could look like if he was healthy. The idea he actually is healthy feels like the monkey's paw curling, right? Like something's gonna go wrong the more we talk about that. And yet, you look at the recent results, how you gonna argue it? He's a good fighter, but he has a meh Tachiai. I think his Tachiai is fine. Honestly, and you could say this about Kiri and Hoshoryu. If you are below average size for the division, and you are a Yokozuna or an Ozeki being spoken of as a potential Yokozuna, you gotta have a pretty good all-around game. You can't have any weak points, because they will be destroyed. So, I suppose the Tachiai, if you want to argue the Tachiai is the weakest part of his game, I think that's fair, because he doesn't really blow guys out on the Tachiai. He's very, very good at getting into a grind and working his way into a winning position. That is absolutely true. But he doesn't lose on the Tachiai either. Like, it's fine. The quality of the field will matter more than the score. I mean, both are going to matter. But if everybody is in, I still don't think if all 42 guys are in the whole tournament and Kiri wins with a 12-3, I don't think he's getting it. Well, you know what? If he beat both Yokozuna, if he won with a 12-3 and beat both Yokozuna, because he would fight them the last 2 days, or days 13 and 14. So if he beat them, that would mean he wasn't choking at the end, and then he'd have to beat Kotozakura on the final day. Okay. If he won a Yusho with a 12-3, especially if there was a playoff, and he got there by beating Hoshoryu, Onosato, and Kotozakura the final 3 days, then that is like the one path to a 12-3 Yusho getting him the white rope. That's I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I think that's the only way that happens. Kirishima and Hoshoryu aren't that big, though. Like, I would say the idea that they're not pushing their weight as much as they should, I think that's more true for Hoshoryu. When he's been more aggressive, more front foot, as they say, he's done really well. Kiri is not really that guy, though. He's never been that guy. He maneuvers, he wins through tactics. And he's great at it. It just doesn't work when you get Onosato, or back in the day, Terunofuji in your face. There's a reason he's a combined, like, 1 in 20 against, or 0 in 20, or whatever. I think he was 0 in 11 against Terunofuji, and he's 0 for whatever against Onosato. Because he just has nothing for dudes like that. Beating the Yokozuna means he lost to rank and file. That is absolutely true. But we've seen in the past, and we'll move along from Kiri soon, but... Oh god, I forgot his name. Yeah, Jason. No Zenshos in 5 years, and I mean, can you really think of someone who's gonna get one? Onosato was the closest. He was 14-0 on the final day, and then Hoshoryu flipped him on his head. And that's been it. Like, Kotozakura's 14-1 was, he lost, like, partway through. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. There was a guy, and it's one of the few Ozeki runs of 33 wins that didn't wind up in promotion. Or no, I think it was a 32. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, right. I still don't remember the guy's name, but I remember the circumstances. He won 32 matches in 3 tournaments, and he didn't get promoted. Maybe it was 30. It doesn't matter. The point is, he was in line to be promoted to Ozeki. And the reason he wasn't was because he lost to a couple of rank and file guys at the end. He fought them at the end because he had fought all the higher rank guys earlier on. They look at end of Basho wins and high rank wins very, very favorably. Like, Kiri going 12-1 and backing into a Yusho despite 2 losses at the end was great. You won the Yusho, but that was a bad look. You're gonna take losses along the way. Like, that is not an unusual thing. But can you come back? Can you show that fighting spirit? That's important. Like, that matters. And especially the fact that he has never beaten Onosato. If Onosato's healthy enough to stay in the whole time, and he beats even a weakened version of Onosato, the JSA will be like, he beat Onosato for the first time. That was a great win. It's like, they'll completely fail to mention that it was 50% of Onosato, right? They'll just look at the ranks and be like, yep, you did great. What up? So I know there's 2 people with 42 opinions, so I don't want to, like, say one or the other, but hello, glad to have you here. Right, Taka Keisho got denied and had to fight another tournament because he had a terrible loss at the end. And that wasn't even... That's not the one I'm thinking of, but that's a good point. But that was where... It wasn't that he lost, it's that he got blown out. Because I think it was Goedo that beat him. And he got smashed so hard that they were like, wait a second, I don't know about this kid yet. And then he came back and did it anyway, and they're like, okay, you're good. Oh, it's always Maria? What's up? I hope the book is selling a little bit. Fantasy authors, always an A+ in my book. All right, so this stream runs a few hours anyway. I think we need to move on from Kirishima, although I could talk about him for a while. All right, The other Ozeki. Kotozakura. Whoa, we scrolled down. Ooh, this is actually pretty close. We've got C+, slightly ahead of B tier. Miyabiyama was a special case. I'll get into that in a second. All right, we are doing us a poll. B tier or C+. Yeah, no problem, Maria. That's like, again, like having gone through a creative writing program and having written a book and having not gotten a bite on a publisher, it's like, and I don't know if you have a publisher, you self-published or whatever, but it's like that whole, and I have friends who have self-published, and like that is a hard way to do things. So like I'm always gonna help people out if I can. Anyway, Miyabiyama. So he got denied on 34, and I always thought that was a screw job, and I still think it was a screw job. But he was an Ozeki previously and absolutely cratered. Like, he sucked. He was an Ozeki for 8 tournaments, as I recall, and he had a losing record in 4 of them, which is pretty bad. And I don't think he was particularly injured at that. He actually got injured after he dropped out of Ozeki. There was no reason for him to do so badly. He just collapsed. And so when he came back around the next time, the main thing that prevented him from getting Ozeki the second time wasn't just that he failed the first time. It was specifically that he went 10 wins, 14 wins, 10 wins. That was his Ozeki run. And that matters because finishing strong, as I discovered, is a huge deal when it comes to making Ozeki. It's huge. It's massive. So going 10 wins is whatever, that's fine. And he did that twice. He did it at the start and the end. And then he had a huge 14-win Yusho in the middle. But that's like, you can just pop off and do that. So they considered that unconvincing. Again, is that fair? Probably not. But if he had gone 11, 11, 12, he probably makes it. Like, that's how fine a line there is in that case. You know, I gotta agree about Koto's resilience. Like, it is bananas to me that he is able to just stick in there and not lose the rank. And maybe it's because deep down he knows if he loses it, he's not getting it back. He's not. He's got 10 wins in a basho like once in the last 2 years. Ever since his Yusho, like when he ended up on a Yokozuna run and then banged up his knee really bad and fell apart, I think that 10 wins he got earlier this year, that might be the only one he has. That's not a good sign if you drop from Ozeki and you need 10 to get back right away. And like, they're not giving it to him. He's earning it. I don't know how he's doing it, but he gets it done. Dragon, I used to think that too. I really did. I thought he was a head case, and maybe to an extent he is. But the more I watch, the more I think he's just really physically vulnerable because of his knees. Like, if a guy doesn't put up a fight, it looks like he's not trying that hard, right? But if Koto gets pushed back right away, his knees don't always seem capable of preventing the slide backwards. And so he just gets walked out. Now, there are times where it's like, man, it looks like you could have put in a little more effort than that, but I don't want to bag on him too hard for that, because I really do think he is trying, but he's also trying to protect himself. And sometimes that leads to losses that look really bad. I'm trying to be fair, because there are times where, like, Shodai takes a bad looking loss, but he looks like he didn't try. And I'll bag on him harder. But I haven't found a reason to be kind to Shodai in those situations. Anyway, this is really close. C+ is slightly ahead. The poll's been running for a while, but I'm gonna give it slightly more time. Thank you for the donation, Jason. We do not get a lot of donations on the stream. I am super appreciative. Thank you, man. By the way, speaking of day one action, I gotta see what's going on with our Dungeons and Dragons game, because of course that takes precedence. But what I may end up doing, because I was talking to Amy from Sumo Mainichi, because I didn't know about them, and some of you called me on it, because they're the ones who do the Jurio stuff. And what I want to do this Basho at some point, because they'll do like day 1, day 8, and then days 14 or 15. And I asked if they're going to do that again. They're like, I don't know about certain days, whatever. But I might do some of Makushita. I might try streaming 3rd division and then lead into them doing 2nd division. And then anyone who's still up can then go to Goose at Sunday Morning Sumo Show for 1st division. And then you can just like have the top 3 divisions, or at least half of Division 3, and stay on YouTube and not have to go to Twitch for it if you're up. All right, I think we're gonna call it there. Whew, that was close, but we're going C+ for the community with Kotozakura. Wait, what are you? You know what? For a second, I thought you were saying that they have kangaroos making noise in the background. Like, I've never heard Australians actually called kangaroos. That is wild. Yeah, right, Radic? I mean, how could I have possibly guessed that you would root for Aonishiki? Crystal, look, hey, I'm gonna give it up to foreign language channels, because I haven't watched, well, if you watch sumo with a Japanese commentator, it like, quote unquote, feels right, because it's, you know, that's the sport, or that's the language where the sport originates. So that's a little bit different. But like, listening to Mexican commentators on a soccer match is so much fun. Like, you don't have to understand them if they've got the right energy. And of course, you always can understand, go! Right? Like, it's phenomenal. I could definitely watch soccer with Mexican commentators. If I had to pick anybody who I couldn't understand, it would be them. What about Shishi? Shishi's at the bottom. We can get to Shishi later. They are. The Mexican commentators are so good. It's the same reason I had friends, so when I lived in California, I worked with, one of the places I worked was a pizza place, mostly Asian coworkers, but for some reason we ended up listening to like Mexican, what was it? Not mariachi music. I can't remember what you would call it, but like I didn't understand a word of it, but the energy was so good. If you know, you know. Anyway, it's a tier list. We should move on to the next part of the tier list. Going to Sekiwake, Atamifuji. I feel like Atami and Kotoshoho are just getting in the way of the important guys, but that's also mean. Like, they're here for the second straight tournament. They've earned it. But Atami's going to C+. That's fair. I have him at C-. I have him 6 to 8 wins. But now that we've got more injury news coming out, I think 6 to 9 wins is sort of the range. So it's like either C tier makes a lot of sense. That's what sucks about, like, I like doing the tier lists early. I like doing that stuff as quickly as I can, getting it out there so people can watch it, like leading into the boss show. But man, so much injury news comes out after the fact that it's like, oh God, if only I had known that. And that's happening now. In fact, it's happening a little bit earlier than it often does. It's happening earlier than it often does because a lot of times we don't get this kind of information until like next Tuesday or Wednesday. Whoa. And Toka, healthy, he's not. And that's what's surprising about what he's doing. Because he's got hip arthritis at 23. And he fought like it for the better part of a year. And now it's like it's not there anymore. I don't know what changed. But he's like I am waiting for the breakdown. I am waiting for him to break down, but he's not. And it's kind of it's impressive. I'll give it to him, like, straight up. It is impressive more than anything. I don't want to take anything away from him. I don't want to be like, yeah, well, he's going to just fall apart sooner or later. I mean, they're all going to fall apart sooner or later. For him, it's probably going to be sooner, in terms of age at least. But, like, it's what he's doing is impressive, not because he's healthy, but because he's not. Sorry, taking my vitamins. My vitamins. We have a healthy non-American population in the chat today. I want to try and say things, well, I mean, everyone's going to say it differently. I guess more Britishly? Although everybody hates the Brits. Yeah, he looks healthy for now. Sure, like, yeah, absolutely true. Okay. So that was pretty straightforward. What do we got for Kotoshoho? And by the way, I do want to note, I have not looked at these responses ahead of time. I did in the past, now I just do this and I let them surprise me. Kotoshoho. Another pretty clear C-. Like, it's far enough ahead of the other two that I think we can fairly just put him in, or C+, right? C+. And again, same as Atamifuji. He is in a situation where enough guys are hurt that he can still do work. Right? Maybe what he does here is he goes 9 wins again. So 9 and 9 is 18. No, then he would need... So maybe he gets like 10 wins, right? Maybe he goes 10-5. He has a great basho. He goes 10-5. And then when the guys come back next time, but they're still not 100%, then he has another 13-2 Yusho. But because he had the 13-2 Yusho at the end, 32 wins gets him to Ozeki. And then we have Kotoshoho Ozeki. That's how I could see that happening. I'm putting the odds very, very long, but that's how I could see that happening. That's true. That's true, Grandma. No one hates just the English. That is true. I am suitably corrected. No, although no one remembers the Welsh. Oh God, the French do. That's a deep historical cut, though. Yes, an American did say that. Although, I get a lot of that from, like, British TV and John Oliver, so I didn't just make that up. Okay, so I was about to move on, but now I'm now I'm curious. How would a young Tamawashi do outside of the Hakuo era? Would he have been elite? I guess my question there is, are you viewing, do you mean elite as better than he was in this timeline? Like, to me, if you are setting records for Makuuchi competition and getting to Sekiwake here and there, even if you're not in the elite ranks that often, you are elite. But I'm guessing you mean he would have been like a genuine, like, Sanyaku guy. The fine cowboy named Llewellyn. That's true. That's true. I would have never thought of that. To get back to the Tamawashi question though, huh? I don't know. I think he would have been about the same. I think his results might have been slightly better, but he's a very straightforward guy, and we're seeing like very straightforward guys. They do fine in this current era, but they're not like God mode. He's not a physical monster like Onosato. Even in his heyday, he wasn't that. And if you're less than that and you don't have a backup part of your game, you'll cycle around the top ranks, but not like permanent Sanyaku. I think he could have had I don't think he ever had an Ozeki run, like even one that didn't get there. You know what? Give me a second, because I'm gonna pull up on my other screen so y'all aren't gonna see it exactly where he was at in his career. Holy shit, he's Juryo 7. How the hell did he drop that far? So 2016, 2017, that's when he did his best. And he was getting winning records, but it was like 10-5, 9-6, stuff like that. He had a 13, okay. So he was 9-6 at Maegashira 2, and then 13-2 at Sekiwake, and then lost to Sekiwake. So he was sort of on an Ozeki run. Maybe he gets there. But I don't think we would have seen a significant difference. in his results. Slightly better, maybe, but I'm gonna say not significant. But I mean, that's a sort of like mental activity that I enjoy. So that's a good. I like that question. He only got to Komusubi at 30. Well, Chura Umi only got to Makuuchi at 30. Like, 30 is an easy number to use, but it's not a realistic one. Actually, Tamawashi, you look at his longevity now, and then think about what he could have done with, like, current medical knowledge if this was his era. That dude could be fighting until he's, like, social security age in the US. Like, he would just be living in his old man strength era for half his career. All right. The other two Sekiwake, the ones of slightly more interest to the people. We got Wakatakakage. Ooh. A- or B. We've got a split here. Waka Prime is getting a poll. Wakatakakage. A- or B. I gotta admit, I'm a little surprised A+, 10 to 12 wins, did not get more votes. I am a little surprised by that. I figured that was gonna hit a little bit harder. But if some of you changed your votes after the injury news, I understand it better. Oh, more sandwich. Hydration. Okay. So I had him at A-, and I'm actually okay with that still, because they're talking about this injury keeping him out of the tournament. And if it's at that level, then I think he either doesn't fight or drops out, or he recovers relatively quickly and does fine. I take my time with sandwiches, Yuria. Come on now. Someone votes F for everybody, like... I mean, I don't know if they put their name on it, and I'm not gonna look, but... that happens. I'm gonna sneakily bring up the subject of PEDs in sumo. That's not sneaky, but it's a fair question. I don't think... Alright, so here's the problem with asking about PEDs in sumo. We have no idea what kind of stuff they test for. We have no idea what kind of stuff they have access to. We have no idea what kind of stuff they might actually be willing to use. Like, this is not pro wrestling, right? The pro wrestlers, and actually a lot of the MMA fighters, were just chock full of steroids. But those were guys, so the pro wrestlers needed physique, and the MMA fighters were fighting by weight class. Sumo wrestlers don't necessarily need that stuff, you know? And the thing with steroids, the things with most kinds of PEDs, I'm not going to say all because I don't know about all, but with a lot of them, is not that they build your muscles, it's that you still have to put in the same work to build your muscles, but you recover faster. That's the difference. And given that, I mean, a lot of them are getting into lifting, but given that like traditional sumo training and the baseline of sumo training for a lot of these guys is not really weight-based, I don't know how much steroids are actually going to help. Now, I could be completely off there. It could be that because they go through these like 4-hour workouts, those PEDs would actually be insanely helpful. They would be hugely helpful. I don't know. I am American. My workout ideas are pretty much all based around some sort of lifting. I have a much different perspective. But I don't know how much they would actually want to take. It's not, I'll leave it at this. It's not as obvious a benefit in sumo as in a lot of other sports. See, I've heard that they test for PEDs, NC, but I don't know any details, and that could just be wrong. Hello, RTY buddy. Yeah, okay, Lost, fair enough. Think of stamina. Lots of cyclists busted for using for recovery. That's true, but the cyclists are using something else. They're usually using EPO or something that works along those lines, which is like, as I recall, that's supposed to get more oxygen in the bloodstream, something like that. It works much differently than something like HGH. So I don't, I could actually see something like that being more useful because muscles use a lot of oxygen. Like a lot of oxygen. Huh. And yet that's the kind of thing that you would never think of immediately as a PED for a sport like sumo. That's interesting. Huh. That's not something to just like muse about on stream. Like that's gonna take too long. But that is a good question. Huh. Okay. I think that's probably long enough. Waka's gonna go to A-. The people are feeling slightly positive. That is not a big gap, but A- it is. Is it possible they take a stimulant or something that increases blood flow right before a match? Maybe, but that probably doesn't get to the level of like PED that we're talking about. Like if I thought it would, like if I was gonna go fight again, I might drink a Monster before a fight if I wasn't hyped enough. But I'll tell you something though. If you participate in a combat sport, anything where like anything other than like freestyle wrestling or something where you're probably gonna get hit, like you could get some kind of hurt. If you need a stimulant to get you going, like your adrenaline should be doing the trick. In fact, the one time I fought, part of the reason I think it didn't go that well is because I was somehow too relaxed. I should have been a little bit scared. And I think there was a lot of positives to not being that way, but I think one of the major negatives was that I let down my guard and I got jacked up. So yeah, in general, if you're doing something like this, you should not need a stimulant. Just saying. Okay. So we got Wakatakakage at A-. And now Aonishiki. Oh. Again. A split. Not a Q&A. What are we doing here? Aonishiki. 10 to 12 wins. Or 9 to 11. The people, generally and reasonably quite positive. By the way, I owe anybody who watched the tier list an apology because I made a mistake and it's got like 6,000 views and we got like 100 and something people in here, so you all are special. You get the acknowledgement. I forgot about his ankle. I said his toe kept him out of the previous basho. I completely forgot that he messed up his ankle in practice. 100%. Forget who left the comment that called me on it, but I appreciate them doing it because I absolutely blanked on that. So it might be worse. We don't know where he's at. The toe is probably fine, but the ankle is still an open question because we never saw him fight with the ankle injury because he sat out. John, I was with you up to the end of your comment. He's either healthy enough to get Ozeki back or he isn't. I mean, yeah. Only way he goes under 10 is if he's moderately banged up. Fair. Gets to like 5 and 6. To like 5 and 6 and stays in to try to hold Sekiwake. Like, he's not going to drop if he's 5 and 6. Like, he's gonna stay in unless he's too hurt to fight, unless he's genuinely too hurt to fight. I mean, we've already seen that. He's not gonna like grind through. Here's what I think about Aonishiki. He has seemed all along to have his eye on the top of the ladder, and I don't think he's gonna take an unnecessary risk just to hang on to a rank that isn't really relevant to getting to the top of the chart. He raced to Ozeki. Anything less than Yokozuna now is not in the binoculars, right? It's not in the view screen. So if he's like 5 and 6 and he can't get Ozeki back, if he's all messed up and he thinks it's going to be in his best interests, health-wise, to drop out and just take the hit, I think he will. I just don't think if he gets to 5 and 6, then he's not going to be at a health point unless he gets hurt during the basho where he feels like he needs to drop. I don't think he's going to do. Let me put it this way. Kotozakura, right? He had a bad back last basho and he stayed in until he got 8 losses. It was all going wrong. It was probably a dumb idea, but he did it. I don't think Aonishiki's going to do that. I don't think he's going to feel that kind of compulsion. I think he's only going to stay in if he feels like he can reasonably compete and not make whatever's going on worse. But we got to see what that looks like. He could come back in. This has been a lot of talking early in the tier list. Damn. He could come back and just blow everybody up. Like, that's always possible. Broke his tailbone. Crystal, that is a reasonably accurate way of describing my view. But I would say that about a few different guys, you know? Like, I think the only difference between Aonishiki and some guys is that he's not gonna be dumb about his health. And some guys are just like, can walk, must fight. That's really it. Oh, that's right. I do think I remember seeing that. Did I see that? I'm blanking on it. Aonishiki breaking his tailbone is one of those things that's so faintly in my memory, I can't tell if I'm creating the memory because people are saying it. And actually, I hadn't heard about it. I don't know. Anyway. Aonishiki, 58%, going with A+. Whoops. Aonishiki goes to A+. You have that going on in your own mind right now. And what are you training, Maria? Shit, I bruised my tailbone snowboarding, and it doesn't bother me anymore, but it took a while to stop being like, ow, my ass. Oh, what school of karate? I've been doing Filipino stuff. Well, I trained Filipino karate as a kid. Now I'm not doing that explicitly. I'm doing Filipino martial arts some at our Muay Thai gym. A guy comes in on Friday nights and we're learning stick fighting. It's awesome. So we've got Aonishiki at A+. Oh my god, I have scrolled all the way down. Yoshinofuji, the new Komusubi. Ooh. Shotokan. I like Shotokan. A friend of mine was a black belt in that, and she was really good. There was a guy who taught Shotokan at our college, and he was just a weird guy, though. Why? Google Forms, why are you just randomly jumping to a different spot? I thought I was accidentally scrolling. No, Google Forms is just doing that. Okay, Yoshinofuji, we got a choice to make between 8 to 10 wins or 7 to 9 wins. Why is it doing that? That's so weird. Burns from work? Paige, what? Where do you work? No, Jacob, I appreciate you saying that, but it's been doing it. It does it every time. There's always points where I flip back to the screen, and where we were at number 10, now we're on number 30, and it's, I don't know why. I just wish it would stop. I am not hitting the space bar at all. Oh. Okay. Yeah. I hope you recover quickly. Oof. So, Lurker, I gotta say, as one of the people who has been met on Yoshi, and it's not okay. I don't know if people have been genuinely like, he's okay, like he's good. He's always been good, but he has also fallen short of figuring out the top guys, right? Once he got to the upper ranks, he started doing okay because he was still trying to figure out how he wanted to fight or how he needed to fight the best of the best. Like, he hurt his calf, he couldn't go to London, and then he popped off in the next Basho at Maegashira 6. I mean, I think he went like 9-6, not exactly popping off, but he did well. But then he gets towards the top and it's like he struggles. And even last tournament, and I keep saying this because I think it's important, he was 11-4, but he was only 1-3 against the Sanyaku. He did not do well. He benefited, I would argue, more than anybody from so many Sanyaku wrestlers being out with injuries. And that's despite the fact that he does really well against Onosato and Aonishiki. Like, I was surprised that he did so well because those two are actually guys he can beat. But he clearly, once he got through the first 4 days and there was really no more Sanyaku matches on the table, he just got on a roll against the guys below him. And I think he can keep doing that. But expecting another 11 wins, unless all those same guys are out again, is probably a little much because he has consistently struggled against the top opponents. Crystal, you absolutely should join the Discord. Like, we have like 140 people, which actually isn't that many. But I want to see people talk about weird shit. Like, yeah, it's the community is based around sumo. I expect most talk to be around sumo. I want anybody, listen. I have the Discord links in the last couple video descriptions. If you want to go to a Discord where you can talk about just the crazy shit that you do, you can come to ours. Because I'm all about talking about different things. Please do. I think that is fun. I think that's great. Yoshi could have a decent career at the bottom of the Joy, being a monster to the mid-ranks. He could, but I think he can be more than that. I think he's got the potential to make an Ozeki run. I don't know if he'll get there. He's got some real improvement he needs to do to actually make Ozeki. But I don't think he's that far off. I kind of don't want to grab the Discord. Oh, I know what I can do. I do have the Discord link somewhere. You know what's fun about having like kind of a viewer YouTube account and then a content YouTube account is that sometimes the stuff that gets suggested to me shows up on both. And so I get to watch now this channel is telling me to go watch the Vancouver Canucks, A Legacy of Failure video, even though I watched it already on my other account. There we go. There's the Discord link. Okay, so that's looking like a B for Yoshinofuji. Man, everybody's feeling positive today. Last time, everybody was voting people down. Although, I guess it depends on the people we're talking about. Moving along, we're gonna get to the end of the Sanyaku here with Oho. Oho. This feels like a pretty clear C-. After the last one, I realized that, like, if there's one that's far enough ahead of the others, it's probably, you know what? I'm gonna put this to a vote and just see if what I'm thinking is correct. We're gonna do C+, C-, and D here, because I am a little curious what everyone's gonna say. Five, 2, 7. It's really interesting when, like, people are saying, don't hate on my boy Oho, because, like, I understand when it's Shishi, because Shishi has just, like, this very small but powerful fan base. I don't actually get how Oho has, like, hardcore fans. Spark, how are you? I mean, I'm glad you're here. Are you on break? Like, how are you having an opportunity to type stuff when you're working at Chick-fil-A? Grandma, I completely agree with you. Well, except for the Yokozuna part. But I enjoyed the twerk. The twerk was amazing. I'm disappointed that he doesn't do it anymore. See, that's... Having been a delivery driver for a long time, at pizza places, granted, but still, I did a lot of driving, obviously, that was the main part of the job, but I didn't get to sit. There was no sitting, unless there was nothing to do. Like, I had to go help with everything else when I was in the store. I don't know how 60% of your job is sitting. That's like... I mean, it feels like a sweet deal. Hello, Gorilla. Yeah, military, I was wondering that too. Like, to me, everybody has delivery now because of stuff like DoorDash, but Chick-fil-A having its own delivery service, I didn't ask, but that is a surprise. Jens. Oh, Oho does have diehard fans. I know a whole group in Osaka. I think it's his personality which attracts his fan base. Well, that's got to be some personality he shows it in person, because I don't see it. Pizza places still have, at minimum, pizza places still have their own drivers. It's too... Pizza delivery is too common. What's up, O-Wing? Thanks for coming by. C-, C- is crushing. So yeah, so C- was pretty far ahead in the poll, and C- is ahead here. Alright. I'm gonna try and spend slightly less time on polls and more just we can chat. So Oho goes to C-. That's fair. Like, given the injuries, I think anything I had, anyone I placed wherever, all the injury news coming out, I think moving everybody up one tier from where I had them, I can't argue with any of that. Like, I just have to shrug my shoulders, be like, yeah, that's fair. That's fine. Crystal, I would guess it's because they're extra busy. Like, weirdly, that seems like, from a business perspective, a decent way to make up for if somebody's out or if you're just taking more orders than you expected. See, when I was driving, we could pack up 2 or 3 orders at a time. And around the time I left California and left pizza delivery was when places started saying, no, just take 1 order and go, which is terrible. That's so bad for the drivers. Like, it was never a huge money-making job, but at least, like, when I did it, you could at least make a decent amount of money off of, like, packing up a bunch of deliveries that were close together and taking them all at once. And now they still take a good chunk of the delivery charge as a way to, like, pay back your hourly rate for because you're not in the store, but you have to drive a lot more per delivery because you can only take 1 at a time, and it's trash. Like, it's just the system squeezing everybody. That's how it is for the delivery drivers. That's them getting squeezed. I mean, if someone wants to donate a VTuber Spiffy, I'll use it, but that shit is expensive. Like, we just got to 10K subscribers. I think, like, that doesn't even become a dream until 100K. Chris isn't even at 100K. I adore the Sumo community, but the Sumo community is not big enough to get anyone to 100K subscribers at this point. It's not. Okay, moving along. We are now out of the Sanyaku. Oh my god, we have been taking our time with this. I've been enjoying it though, so I'm good with it. Maegashira 1 East, Fuji no Kawa. We've got C+ or C-. You know, you know what? I'll put this again. Because Fuji no Kawa is a guy that brings out the feelings in people, one way or the other, I'll put this to a vote. I think it depends on the VTuber, honestly. Like, a VTuber is extremely off-putting. I have seen ones where I'm like, no, stop. And I've seen ones that are genuinely impressive, and it's like, yeah, I understand why you do this. Like, it really depends. I think what I would need is a janky model. So, like, right now I've got the little PNG tuber on the screen, and I could do more with it. Yuri is actually really good at this stuff, and she could probably teach me a few things. But I think I would just need something that moves in really awkward ways and isn't like that sort of uncanny valley flowing animation thing. Just like a marionette. Lost, I'm gonna ban you. The Fuji needs a tad more bulk. I mean, you can only get so much bulk at that size. God damn it, Connor. Now that's in my head. I hate that that's a really good idea. I don't think it works for this particular avatar, but man, that is a good idea. My God, that, okay. Like, okay, getting back to Sumo, right? I feel like everyone keeps making excuses for Fuji winning, but he keeps winning. He does keep winning. And I don't think nobody who's being even slightly fair should be saying that he's like just getting lucky, right? He's getting good wins. The problem is he goes all out every time, which is great, right? He gets these enormous head starts on guys, which is, you know, not so great, but if they let him, then they let him. And there are guys he fights where his size is just, it inhibits his ability to win in a way that you don't really see with even other small wrestlers. Like, you might see Midori Fuji get lifted out or something, or get kind of manhandled because he's small. And I think Fuji's actually a little bigger than Midori, but Fuji, like, he gets thrown. He gets, like, bounced around. And a lot of that is because he's very active. He doesn't, like, he doesn't always try to set his feet and, like, maintain a low stance. Like, he moves around a lot, and that makes it easier to move him more. That, like, so I mean, it's a trade-off, right? It's a trade-off. But I don't know how he goes from that to winning outside of going faster and getting around guys' backs or something. And that's not going to happen at this level. Is there a way for him to get to the Sanyaku? Probably, but I don't know what it is. Maybe everybody in the Sanyaku getting hurt? Like, there are just too many guys who can take advantage of his size. That's really what it comes down to. And he can beat them sometimes, but not consistently. Yeah, he's the feature on the cheating video because let's be super clear. The false start videos, the cheating videos, are about the JSA's unwillingness to clamp down on it, not bashing the guys who do it. Like, if they've figured out this loophole in the rules that's not getting closed, they're competitors. I don't blame them. Like, even if I don't like it sometimes, even if I think it fucks up some of the matches, I'm not going to put it on the wrestlers to fix the problem. That's not their job. So I've got no hate for Fuji for doing that. In fact, I love watching him fight. But anyway, this is close. C+ is the vote. My goodness. My goodness. Fuji no Kawa, C+. 7 to 9 wins. Honestly, if he gets a winning record, this is one of those ones, I have him 5 to 7. But if he gets a winning record, I won't mind because I'll love the show. I will just sit back and enjoy the show. But I just don't know how that's going to happen. I don't enjoy the slaps. Yeah, he does that a little, although if you don't enjoy the slaps, you must hate Chiyoshima because he just he goes out there like he's a pimp. I mean, he's just whacking people. Okay, Takano Show. Oh. This one is genuinely close. Okay, Takano Show. Again, a three-way vote. C tier, C minus, or C plus, C minus, and D tier. All right, the vote is up for Takano Show. I asked for your opinions, and then I'm flabbergasted when you have opinions. I'm never flabbergasted that you have opinions. I'm just flabbergasted by what a few of those opinions end up being. I'm honestly not surprised that Fujinokawa was viewed positively, because when guys are particularly popular or unpopular, that definitely impacts the vote. Like 100%. 100%. And I expect that. And like when the community makes a choice that's quite a bit different from mine, that's great, because then when we do the tier list recap, then there's points of difference and we like score differently, and maybe the community, you know, gets to send my money somewhere. But there are some choices that still do end up surprising me, and like Fujinokawa at C minus wouldn't surprise me. He has a chance at 8 wins, sure. C plus, he's probably going to get 8 wins, is like, whew, that is optimistic. I can see it. I can understand it. It's optimistic. Cape Verde almost won in that. Oh my god, that. Oh, I was so sad. I wanted them to at least get the penalties. Like, the fact that it didn't get there is just so unfortunate. Alright, so C minus and D are pretty close for Takano Show. So let's get a few more votes in and see if that sticks or if that swings. Okay, I seem to recall he doesn't usually prosper this high in the Banzuke. I'm assuming you mean Takano Show, and that is correct. In fact, let me grab a little something here, because I always think that this is noteworthy. Let me blow this up. His original name was Masunosho. I didn't know that. Anyway. So this shows the last few years, like, he was only okay at the mid ranks for a while, and then 5 and 10 at Maegashira 3, 4 and 11 at 1, 6 and 9 at 1, 3 and 12 at 3, 5 and 10 at Komusubi, 5 and 10 at Maegashira 3, 9 and 6 at Maegashira 4, 7 and 8 at Maegashira 1. So how he's done at the high ranks the last couple Bashos has actually been a little better than the few years before, but not like oodles, you know? Alright, I think we're gonna call that is a D tier for Takano Show. Actually knocking it down a peg from the community forum. Takano Show to C minus, or to D, to D, to D, to D, to D, D, to D, to D, to D, to D. Moving on. Gonoyama, the Slightly surprising, although not to everybody. Good job, Guess the Banzuke winners. Ooh. All right. C plus and C minus are so close. I'm just gonna go with them. I'm gonna leave D tier out because the other ones, well, no, I'll put D tier in. It's close enough. So 7 to 9, 6 to 8, or 5 to 7. All right, Gonoyama. Fuck yeah, Crystal. Say whatever you want. Just as long as you're not, you know, being shitty to people. The way I would describe it to students was like, I don't care if you swear, just don't swear at anybody. Like, if you're mad at your Chromebook and you're like, this fucking Chromebook, that's cool, whatever. You're frustrated, I understand. If you look at a student, you go like, fuck you, no, that's not okay. That's the way I look at things. There's a difference. Okay. Oh God, polite and cruel. Ooh. I will do my best never to get on your bad side. And so while people are voting, I'll throw this in. Gonoyama has not done well at higher ranks. However, I think this comes down to, do you think you're gonna see the Gonoyama that showed up for March and the first 2/3 of May? Or do you think you're gonna get the Gonoyama that showed up after he lost to Ichiyamamoto and went totally off the rails? Because Gonoyama is famously aggressive, hyper aggressive, like I'ma kill you aggressive. And the higher he goes up the ranks, the more that leads to guys letting him fall on his face. That's been his career. And in March and most of May, he was still hitting dudes, but he was under control enough to not throw himself on his big old belly. And that led to him doing very, very well. And then when he lost track of that, when he for some reason decided that that wasn't going to work anymore, it all fell apart. Now, I don't have a lot of faith in him. Like, I have him C- because we saw that guy who could fight. We saw that guy who actually did pretty well. And I don't want to like throw away the possibility that that guy could show up and do some work. But man, he seems to have such a default status of kill that, and that's so abusable that it's like, I don't know that I would have faith in that guy, in the good Gonoyama, actually showing up for the whole tournament, especially if he starts losing. Ichiyamamoto is at least also good at throwing other guys onto the clay. Gonoyama's really only good at throwing himself down. And everybody else goes into row 3. Yeah, Jorge, like, Gonoyama might be the primary beneficiary of a bunch of injuries. Like, at Maegashira 4, it actually didn't help him that much because he ended up with all the Sanyaku guys. Now, he ended up beating almost all of them, which was amazing. But those were fights that he might not have had if everyone was in. Now, at 2 East, he definitely has to fight them. So if they're out, that's good. Thing is, so here, actually, this is a great question. Does Gonoyama benefit if a lot of these high-ranked guys are still hurt to the point that they're only going to be in for part of the Basho? Because at 2 East, he's going to fight them first. He's going to go through them. I'm not sure what the exact order is going to be, but he's going to fight them first. So if they're only in for a little bit, he's going to be one of their opponents. So does he beat them because they're not 100%? I don't know. Oh, this is a blowout for C-. All right. So Gonoyama, very clearly a C- pick in the chat. So far, a fairly balanced tier list. And now it's Shura no Umi. And like I said, I haven't looked at these ahead of time. I'm curious what we're gonna get here. That's a C-. Yeah, that's pretty clearly a C-. And again, fair enough. I have him at D tier, but I think C-. I almost put him at C-. And again, now that we have the injuries, I think it makes more sense. He is so solid defensively that he can be annoying to almost anyone. So, you know, if things break just right, I do think he could have a winning record. I just think it's not that likely. And if things start going wrong, they could go really wrong. I probably should have gone C-, honestly. So probably good by the community doing that. Yeah, so 2 East will definitely fight them early. So day 1, oh man. Where's my epic pen? Can I get this running? Hooray! Okay, so there's 2 Sanyaku, right? So what we should get, or there's 2 Komusubi. So what we should get the first day is Y1 East against Komusubi 1 West, and then Y1 West against Komusubi 1 East. But then from there, you're going to get Ozeki 1 East against M1 East, and then Ozeki 1 West, M1 West, Sekiwake 1 East against M2 East. That would be day 1. And you also, it's going to keep going down the line. So you would, because there's so many Sekiwake, you would get Sekiwake 1 West against M2 West, 2 East against M3 East, and then 2 West against M3 West. So the first day, if it goes the way that I've seen in the past, the Sanyaku schedule should stretch down to 3 West. I think. But if we go to day 2, then you're going to end up with they're gonna move down the line. So, oh no, not, hang on. So then you're gonna have the two Ozeki getting the Komusubi, right? And then we start at the top with the Yokozuna for the Maegashira fights. Y1 East against M1 East, Y1. And I could be, like, missing, like, guys who aren't supposed to fight each other for stable reasons, but it doesn't matter. This is just kind of how it works. And then we'll go with... So Sekiwake 1 East would have fought 2 East before, so now he'll fight 2 West, and then 2 East, right? So stuff, and if they have another, you could end up with, actually, hang on. If they have 3 Sanyaku fights, which I think they will, now that I'm thinking about it. So you've got, you've got that, and then K1 East, and then you'd have, like, Sekiwake 1 East against Sekiwake 2 West or something. But then you still have Yokozuna against Maegashira, Yokozuna against Maegashira, and then the other 2 Sekiwake. So now that's Gonoyama, right? So he's going to have a fight. So however it plays out, he should have my Sanyaku opponents for the first several days, assuming there's no dropouts. Thank you for giving me a reason to bust out the epic pen. I always enjoy that. All right, let's do a couple more and then we'll take a break. Hiradoumi. Oh, C-. Okay, that was easy. Yeah, fair. Like, he always seems like he's on the verge of somehow getting another winning record, but he never quite gets there. In fact, I don't think... So he's going to... Let's see. He was... The last time he had a winning record anywhere near here was he was 8-7 at Maegashira 4 East. These last 2 tournaments, and I think this is important, he was Maegashira 3 East and finished 7-8, but he lost, or he won the last day. He hasn't put himself in a position where he could get a winning record on day 15 and then just lost. He's always Makikoshi before that, which is less good. He gets a more winnable matchup the final day. Hiradoumi getting... So that's an interesting question. 9-6, or 6-9 would be more surprising than 9-6. I can understand why, but at the same time, I think 5-10 would be... I think 6-9 would be more surprising than 5-10. Because I feel like he's either going to just have a normal basho, 7 or 8 wins, or he's gonna go clunk. And then if he does surprisingly well, then maybe we're going into the 9-win range. But again, I think it's going to take a lot of injuries for that to happen. I've said this a few times now. Hiradoumi is the guy who used to be the small guy underdog, and now everybody knows it, and nobody wants to lose to him. So all those big guys at the top, they're like, we're done with this fucking guy. If he shows up, we're gonna beat his ass. That's what it comes down to. Okay, Yoshinofuji. B or C+, but I think this is close enough for a vote. Yoshinofuji, C+, or no, B. 8 to 10 wins or 7 to 9. Yeah, what fights what fights does he win? Let's look at last Basho, see what makes sense. He always seems like he's capable of beating anyone or losing to anyone, which that part I understand. So he beat Atamifuji, but he does that a lot. Takayasu is pretty 50-50. Although the fact that he just beat Takayasu so quickly and just threw him onto another wrestler and hurt him, that part was surprising. I don't think him losing to Gonoyama is a surprise, because he used to absolutely annihilate Gonoyama, but so did Ura, and Gonoyama mostly beats Ura now as well. Like, Gonoyama has figured out how to fight some of the smaller guys who use their mobility against him, and he's much more careful. Like Gonoyama, so like he won 4 straight, and then Gonoyama beat him 2 in a row. And then Hirotoumi won a bunch more, and then Gonoyama beat him again. But Gonoyama knows what to do. Like, he's sort of figured that out. Losing to Kirishima, whatever. Kotozakura, I mean, that might have been surprising at the time, but then we found out he was hurt. He beat Shurinaumi, but he always does that. Daisho is kind of a shell of himself. I mean, Tamawashi obviously wasn't getting anything done. So, like, if you look at his head-to-heads, I think who Hirotoumi beat and who he lost to makes sense, but at the same time, watching the fights, I understand why you would say it feels weird, like, it's surprising when you see who he loses to and who he doesn't a lot of the time. All right, let's get back to where we were. Yoshinofuji, where are we at? Ooh. Very close, 51 to 49. I'm trying to be positive about Yoshinofuji, but we'll probably see his arms and legs fall off by day 8. Why? Like, he got surgery on his foot. His foot was his only problem, though. I'm pretty sure he's healthy otherwise. Like, his shoulder is well past surgery time. That looks fine. Yeah, after Yoshinofuji, we're taking a break. But it's 50-50. We need a few more votes. He had an arm injury last Basho? Man, I don't remember that at all. All right, B is sliding ahead and B won in the poll, so we're going to go with B. Yoshinofuji flies into B tier. Yeah, his shoulder was an issue. I am under the impression that it's not really a thing anymore, but I could be wrong. Okay. Break time. Be about 5 minutes. It's 9:58 my time, so we'll go 10:05. 7 minutes. Then we'll be back. I might be back a little sooner, but I'll restart then. All right, I am back. We'll give it another minute. I'm reading the comments, and wait, I saw one. What was I? Okay, Belgium. All right, with Balogun out, it's going to be a lot harder for the U.S. to beat Belgium, for sure. And I am not a soccer expert, but I have watched enough of this World Cup to know that Belgium is playing a lot worse than what you'd expect from, I think they're the number 7 ranked team in the world. And that's what I honestly think the U.S., especially with Balogun out, they would have had a much harder time with Senegal than with Belgium. I think they can beat Belgium. I think they'd have a great chance if they were, you know, fully stocked on people, but I think they can still do it. Now, if they get Spain, even with Balogun, I don't know, but I think they can actually get past this next round. Belgium is washed, but I don't know if they're losing to the US washed. Oof. The US isn't that bad, though. They're actually a decent team. Like, they used to be a team that would have high highs and low lows. And what I've been learning from different, like, media outlets, creators, etc., is that they actually put the resources into the infrastructure that makes sure your team has a baseline level of good. And that's kind of what we're seeing. So I don't think the US is a team where you have to cross your fingers and hope that the good version shows up. They have a good version. Now you wait to see if a great version shows up. Which it probably won't, but I think good is still good enough for Belgium. We are at Hoshoryu. So if you want to just bust out a list real quick, it'll still count for anybody that we get to after that. It's so much fun having like other sumo creators in here. I dig that so much. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna go to Daisho, who is straight up 50% C-. Okay. Well, that answers that question. Yeah. Like, he has 3 straight 7 and 8s, and he's staying at the same rank every single time. Why would we expect anything else? Nersh, you are asking the biggest question with doing this. Like, there are so many guys who you figure are gonna be okay but not disastrous that you end up often loading up on C- picks. And then it looks weird, especially because some of them are gonna fall apart, and it's like, well, why didn't I see he was gonna fall apart? But you couldn't have known. Like, he ends up with 4 wins. He could have easily just had 6. Who knew? Hell yeah, I'm guessing Cyberstag. Although, Maggie, if it's you, hello to either of you or both of you. I don't know if you're both here. I don't know what else we're supposed to say about the Daisho, and we've been taking our time with this, so let's just move on. Ichi Yamamoto. Oh, damn. This is like a dead heat. And I should start a poll and not just say things into the chat. This is a straight up C+ or C- pick. And on the poll, they were 1 vote apart, 45 to 44. Damn. Can someone explain Ichi Yamamoto to me? Push, pull, pray.
Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Like, that's Ichi. He pushes. If the push doesn't work, he pulls. If the pull doesn't work, he fights. And then hopefully he pulls something off. That's why he's actually gotten better in the mid ranks, but he still can't get much done at the higher ranks. And the fact there's 10 Sanyaku should help him, unless, again, a bunch of them drop, because unlike someone like Yoshinofuji, who actually does really well against a handful of them, he doesn't do that great against any of them. Like, if you look at his head-to-heads, he's actually got some decent ones, but then you look at the history, and it's like, all of his wins were from 2019, and all of his losses were recent. So I don't know if he's fighting mostly outside the Joy, though. ND. I don't know if that's actually how it's gonna go. Because for West, even if he avoids a lot of the Sanyaku, he might fight up in rank. And I don't know how much I like his chances against some of those guys above him, but still in Maegashira. More than against the Sanyaku, granted, but yeah, he's gonna probably get drawn up the line a decent amount. If he was 5 West, I'd like his chances a lot better. Let's put it that way. Going 6-9 at M2 is a good sign for him at M4. But is it a good sign when so many guys were out and some of them might be back? Like, that is the question that's gonna hover over everybody for another couple ranks still. Like, that's... And again, with all the injury news, that makes it hard to figure out. And the poll was 1 vote apart, and we are currently tied on the chat. Like, how split can we possibly be? That's wild. That is wild. I like Ichi Yamamoto, he just doesn't win, right? Sumo feels like soccer in a lot. I feel like maybe that's why Sumo has a pretty large contingent of fans in, like, in Europe, places that enjoy your version of football, the real football, because, like, really enjoying somebody who doesn't succeed that often is a normal thing. And, like, in the US, that's odd. Like, unless you're from wherever they're from. Having a fandom for a team that, like, isn't your hometown team and is bad is, like, super weird here. But not other places. All right, C+ has slid into the lead, and okay, well, the damn thing has scrolled again, and I don't know why. All right. Giving it a little bit more. Anybody? Oh my god. If this ends up as a tie, it's gonna be C- because C- won the poll and D was in third. But, my goodness. If you can't sit with your shit-ass football team through 2 decades of duds, you ain't loyal. Listen, I am a Buffalo Sabres fan. I understand completely. Alright, this poll has been running for, oh my god, 5 minutes? Yeah, alright. Doesn't feel like 5 minutes, but There we go. C minus. C minus for each Yamamoto. Very reasonable. Ura! Ooh. Wow, this is a decent split. Although it's really just between C plus and C minus in this case. Although B got a decent number of votes. But not enough to make it to the runoff. You interned with the Sabres? Like, not just ran somewhere in Buffalo? Holy shit. Yeah. Oh, God. Like, Ura 4 West is kind of a meme. Like, it's like, that is his rank. But so around this rank, we're just hoping he does pretty well. But I'm looking at the guys around him, and I'm just like, oh my God. This is so rough. This is so rough. Like, I'm a little... Like, you look at... So, okay, overall, he's number 19. So he's, you know, decent amount outside the joy. He shouldn't, again, unless there's a bunch of injuries up top, he really shouldn't get many or any Sanyaku matches. If he's doing reasonably well, he might get 1 or 2. But then you look at the guys around him, and it's like, if he just gets pulled up in rank a little bit, then you've got Hiraumi, Hakunofuji, Daisho, which in his current form seems like the least dangerous one, but actually obliterates Ura. Ichi Yamamoto, who is doing better against him lately. Oshoma, Shodai, Fujiseiyun, Kotoeho, Takayasu. Wakamoto Haru, if he's halfway healthy, is going to be a problem. Like, there's so many matches. There's so many matches for Ura that just aren't good, that are okay at best. Okay, well, this one is C plus is running away with this one, so we're just gonna go with that. As always, even if I didn't go with that, I appreciate the positivity with Ura. Our precious Pinky Boy. Let's see some more wins. At 5 East, I'm almost like... I mean, I want him to get a winning record and get more money, but if he doesn't, then he doesn't have to fight the Sanyaku match time, so I guess I'm good next time. So I guess I'm good either way. The People's Champ should stay around this rank next time if we're correct. Oshoma, C minus. Well, yep, that's... Oshoma is like a guy who... It's almost like he's just a C minus person to a lot of the fan base. It's not even, he's not going to do that well, C minus. It's, he is a C minus. Like, they look at him and that gets stamped on his forehead in their vision. Army, like, so the Pink King will always be the guy everyone wished lifted the cup. He'll be the guy everyone wished lifted the cup, but never realistically was going to, that we sort of dreamed went on a miracle run and got it. And I say that because the guy that everyone wishes did it and almost actually did will forever be Takayasu. Like, that's just the truth. All right, nobody likes Oshoma, except, well, I mean, a couple people like Oshoma, but Shodai, the Dark Lord of Chaos, has a Chaos poll where C+ did not get enough votes to get to the runoff, and so we're probably going to end up with his ass at D tier. Watch. I don't know. I still love that Jason put him F tier. I don't care if he's right. That's just such, like, Shodai is a guy who, he is such an anything can happen guy that just being like, no, fail. I dig it so much. I am a fan of that. Just putting your foot down. Shodai has always been the Dark Lord of Chaos. Abi is more like fighting chaos. Shodai is just general chaos. Because Abi's fights can go anywhere, and they're just wild. But Shodai's like, but they still happen within the context of kind of what you expect from a sumo match. Shodai's, like, everything around Shodai is just like, I don't know what's happening. Shodai, my favorite least emotion showing guy. I don't know, man. I feel like Shodai, maybe he hasn't done it so much recently, but certainly when he was coming down the ranks, there was a lot of emotion, like, relatively speaking, where he just like, oh man, I lost again. Oh man, why can't I do, like, his expression was just so defeated so often. That sort of sumo stoicism that we're supposed to expect, he was not that guy. Oh my god, now I'm getting this image of Abi, like, his mom goes to hug him and he just reflexively gets out of the way. And it's beautiful. And he's like, sorry, Mom. Well, I mean, I hope I didn't speak it into existence, but Shodai is definitely going D tier here. Dang. No hope for Shodai. I didn't think I was gonna be the one with, like, the most hope for Shodai. That feels very weird. Fuji Seiyun. Finally, we get to one of the newer guys coming up, and, well, that's a C+. I had him at C+, so I'm certainly on board with that. He, like, last Basho, he started out really well. I don't know how he lost to Abi and Yoshinofuji, but he probably got more screwed by the injuries than anyone because he ended up with Sanyaku matches he never would have had otherwise. And he's not at that level yet. But if he dodges them this time, I think he'll be fine. Oh god. Abi, let me go. The mom chokehold is a little... It's... I sort of enjoy the absurdity, although I don't really enjoy it that much. That's... Oof. Damn. Terajima for life, baby. If you don't know, you don't know. Join Road to Yokozuna, you'll understand. Alright. Kotoeho. Ooh. Ooh. That's a lot of positivity. Damn. Alright. B or C plus. Nobody's doubting him. Well, I mean, a few people are doubting him, but not enough. What up, my boy? Which I know that's your name, but that now that I said that out loud, anyway, Kotoeho, B or C, 8 to 10 wins or 7 to 9 wins. Honestly, I think D tier is not unfair. I think anytime you got somebody at a career high rank and they're outside the bottom of the division now, I think that is, it might not happen, but I get it. Like, who did we have last time? There was, because there was Fujisei, words are hard. Fujisei-un, Asahakuryu, oh, and Asakoryu. And Asahakuryu fucking blew up. Like, he just, well, not blew up, he imploded. Fujisei-un was doing fine, and Asakoryu was doing fine, but then he got hurt. And it's like, just because they're good enough doesn't mean they're ready to succeed at this level just yet. Unless they're overwhelmingly good. Is Kotoeho keeping Kotoshoho going, or is Kotoshoho getting Kotoeho going? Like, Kotoeho keeps talking about, dude, my bro's up there. I gotta get there. I feel like I don't, and granted, most of the translated news I get is from Chris Sumo, and he just chooses what to cover. But I mean, it could go both. It probably goes both ways. If they're brothers, yeah, it probably goes both ways. He was coming off surgery to remove a callus. What? I mean, that's a hell of a callus. Okay. Oh. Damn, Sumo Stats got the news. Okay, so this is from May 3rd. Let's see. He explained that a week ago he couldn't even perform Shiko due to skin hardening on his left big toe. Oh! After treatment with antibiotics and IV drips, he finally sparred during the YDC's joint training session on May 1st. He also missed most of the spring regional tour after suffering a lower back strain on April 3rd. Despite concerns about his health, he noted, "My back is completely fine now and my foot is improving. My condition is at 65 to 70%, but there's still 1 week left." Well, apparently he needs to be 100% to get anything done. But, I mean, surgery to get a hardened... Okay, a hardened thing on your toe, describing that as a callus feels like it's not wrong. But boy, that sounds way worse. Oh. Oh, that sucks. Alright, I probably underranked him, but we're not to him yet. Kotoeho. C+. Yep, I think we're good there. Please. Folks, Sumo Spiffy's Bar and Grill does not recommend that you use a belt sander on your foot. The comments of our viewers do not reflect the opinions of Sumo Spiffy's Bar and Grill. Do not use a belt sander on your foot. Papa Bear. Oh, B. Holy. Exact same number. So 8 to 10 wins, the most by far, and the 2 tiers above and below, exactly the same number of votes. That's about as locked in as you can get. Papa Bear B tier. That's where I've got him, but like, I remember he got hurt, he dropped to Maegashira 7, he was killing it, and then he got hurt against the Atamifuji, but stayed in and just lost like 8 matches in a row. Like, it was awful. So that's why I'm not assuming that because he's at this rank, he's gonna crush it. It would be great. Like, this would be the time. Someone said it earlier. If he's gonna get a Yusho, this is the kind of rank he should start from. And if all the Sanyaku guys get hurt and knock each other out along the way, well, then we'll get to see a whole new way for him to finish 11-4 and get Jun Yusho number 47 or whatever. So, as far as his health goes, like, as far as his routine issues, like his lower back issues, he's done much better managing that. It's led to fewer wins, but he can stay in the tournament, which is good. If he can somehow put together a way to get a bunch of wins and like without risking the health of his back, anything is possible. I don't know what that looks like though until we see it. Wakamoto Haru. Oh man, this is I don't even have a guess for what we're gonna see here. Yeah. I mean that is a pie chart. Whew. Well, we're definitely voting. We're gonna keep it down to C+ and C-, because the other ones are just too far away. And this is like super unfortunate because Wakamoto Haru is so much better than this. He's just so clearly not okay. How does anyone have him anything higher than D? Because he's good? Like, he's a proven higher level wrestler than this? And the question is his health. I think that's how. Like, he went 5-10 last time, which means he won some matches, right? And he beat Shodai, Ichi Yamamoto, Chiyoshoma, Kinbozan, and Oshoumi. Now, apart from Oshoumi, he could end up fighting all 4 of the other guys. And even in his decrepit state, he got those wins. He also had to fight Atami, Kotoshoho, Kirishima, and Kotozakura, and the fact that 3-win Kotozakura still beat him is not good. It's definitely not good. But those are matches he gets to avoid unless he's doing really well. So it's completely reasonable to think that he's falling to pieces and he's not going to get anything done. But it's just as reasonable to think that at 50% he can still get something accomplished here. Like, I think it would help if we knew exactly what was wrong. Like, if it's still his leg, then, you know, he did terrible at Komusubi with his leg injury. The bandages were off in May, and he still did really badly. So was it still his leg? If it was, you figure it keeps healing, he'll be okay. At some point, maybe not this time. But like, if it's something else, like I said it like as a half joke, but man, he has taken a lot of Uchari falls. He has tried to fling dudes out over his shoulder a lot of times. And that shit lands you 2 feet down on your head. You can't do that forever. And if that's messing him up, well, that was a matter of time. See, this feels... Wakamoto Haru, to me, is very much in that, like, anything is possible 4 to 11 win range. Maybe not 11, 10. Like, he's so steady that... maybe, okay, 5 to 10. Only because he's, like, very steady and unspectacular. Just getting 11 wins, apart from maybe the bottom of the division at full health, seems like it's just not a thing. But, like, he could just get beat by a bunch of dudes that he shouldn't lose to, normally. I don't know. Anyway, the people have spoken. C- is a clear winner. Oh, I accidentally put him behind Roga. Alright, if Roga is anything other than C-, y'all not doing your jobs. Thank you. Thank you. You understood the assignment and you followed through. I appreciate you all. Roga at C-. Nothing more to be said. He just... Ura's silly somersaults are how you last forever. Not a joke. That is true. He would probably... If he... like, bounced off the dohyo and landed on his feet all the times that he, instead of rolling off all the times that he rolled off, like, sort of on purpose, he would probably be out of the sport. He has saved his knees so much damage by just barrel rolling rather than trying to maintain his feet. It's so smart. It's so smart. How could I what? I don't know what I did. Yeah, I mean, they all know how to fall, but a lot of them don't want to, which fair enough. I mean, falling, it's like not wanting to fall is very human. And some of the bigger guys, like that barrel rolling is hard, but Ura does a great job. There was a lady, people pay to be in the splash zone. There was, I can't remember which fight it was, but one of the fights I put into the tier list, I was running short on time, or else I would have drawn attention to this, but this lady, like, leaned onto the guy next to her and screamed as somebody got chucked right next to her in row 2. It's like, you know where you're sitting. How are you reacting this way? You had to know this could happen. All right, Fujiryoga. Ooh. We have a positivity split here. Fujiryoga. Whoops. 8 to 10 wins or 7 to 9. Am I being unfair in saying that Fujiryoga is absolutely shit at grappling? Like, I don't think I am. Maybe I'm missing something, but it's like... I mean, he was atrocious. Like, he did okay last time? Like, his losses were, like, to tough opponents? I don't know. No, I think he's gonna do fine, but I think once he gets to, like, Maegashira 5 or 6, he's gonna get surprised by how hard it becomes. Yeah, bit by bit, I suppose. I mean, she was sitting next to a guy. I don't know who the guy was or anything, so... But, like... If I recall, because she was an older lady, he looked younger. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was like her son was like, let's go to the sumo matches. And she's like, oh, what a wonderful birthday gift or something. And he's like, we got right up close. And she's like, oh, these are great seats. And then the guy lands and she's like, ah! That's what I could see it being. I don't know about a few years. Like, if it takes Fujiryoga a few years to get going, that's gonna be disappointing. Next year at this time, maybe. Because he's 23, right? And I think not until someone is 25 do they really start to be locked in. I mean, they can still learn, they can still get better, absolutely. But once someone hits 25 and up is where it's like, okay, if you haven't figured this out by now, I'm not sure what's going on. Especially when you figure he's been in the sport for a couple years, and by the time he's 25, that's going to be 4 years. I mean, he's got to get better at this belt stuff at the very least by then, doesn't he? God. Really, I think for Fuji, it's who's willing to stand there and take it. Moroga probably will be. Wakamoto Haru might be. Takayasu will, but Takayasu can beat him anyway. Kotoeho won't. Fuji Seiyun is a very good grappler, which is potentially a problem. Oh no, wait, are they in the same stable? I can never remember which guys. No. So Fujiryoga's in Fujishima. Fuji Seiyun, oh no, so they won't fight each other. Okay. Oh, it's Fujinokawa who's in a different one. Is in Oumi. Okay, so they won't fight each other. Shodai will take it. Asanoyama could beat him anyway. Tobizaru won't stand there. Chiyoshoma won't stand there, but Fujiryoga should still beat him. Wakano Sho will stand there, for sure. Wakano Sho wants to stand there. That's the fight he wants. Depends how Matakayumi's feeling. Asahakuryu... I mean, he's a good... I don't know. I think he'll be fine. I think he's got enough guys who are gonna do, like, aggressive sumo and not get out of the way that he'll be fine. But it's... Yeah, much further up is where he's gonna start to have problems. Yeah, sorry, Grandma. It's like... The way Windows works, it... For some reason, when I flip back to look at the chat, it... Oh, I know what I can do. I needed to fix something. When I was flipping back to look at the chat, it just shows my desktop, and I don't know why. Like, I don't like it doing that, but I couldn't figure out a way to avoid it. But I got a little workaround. Updates on Onosato. He's busted. I mean, we don't know how busted. We'll find out next week, but he's busted. Anyway, Fujiryoga looking like a B tier pick for the community. Yeah. I mean, that's what if he has a losing record, that's going to be very disappointing. The flying monkey. Another vote. So despite Tobizaru's recent, well, late last year, I suppose we should say, struggles, nobody's really down on him. Fair enough. Let's see exactly where we are. 7 to 9 or 6 to 8. The chat is on the second screen. That's why I have to keep switching to it. But I was doing it by going to the taskbar, and now I just like shrunk the browser that I was looking at on the second screen so that I can look at both, which was a pretty obvious solution, and I'm kind of derp for not figuring that out, but I've been on Linux since Windows 7 came out. I had Ubuntu on a laptop back in the day, but like, and maybe things have changed, but there's just too many things that I want to do that Linux didn't support then. If it does now, maybe I'll reconsider for my next computer, but at the moment it's just like, I liked Linux. But the reason I even put Linux on that computer was because it was underpowered and it had Windows Vista. So I'm like, I don't need that. Like, I got it specifically to put Linux on it. But then I was using like OpenOffice for college essays, and that was a pain in the ass. Like okay, so Tobizaru looked phenomenal last Basho until he got yeeted up to fight the Sanyaku. But like, I'm sort of curious if he's actually sort of back to normal, or if that was just like he took some painkillers and his body was like, let's go, and that's not sustainable. I think my main issue with using Linux as my main OS is that I have a decent number of games that I like to play now and again, and not all of them are supported by Linux. Some are, but not all of them. Alright, so Tobizaru's looking like a C-. May seemed like a heater to me. Yeah, kind of. Like, I had the feeling that he was just really feeling himself, but he also looked like he was doing better physically than he had been, so it seemed like a mix. I don't expect him to do quite that well again. Taking painkillers and saying let's go, I mean, anyone can do it. It's just a question of whether it works. I guess I should have specified. Okay, Asanoyama. Oh, C+. Okay. Reasonable. Like, he keeps breaking down, which is obviously not good. And at the same time, he keeps getting a bunch of wins early before he breaks down. So it's like, I understand the concern for sure. But I guess I put him at B tier because I'm like, do I have a reason to think he's not going to be able to do this again? And I don't. But honestly, C+, I guess I could, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I could see it being more likely he finishes 7 and 8 for some reason than 10 and 5. So C+ is probably smarter. I give you that. I think the community has a better pick here. Whether or not it works out, I think the community made the smarter pick here. What's on his wiki page that makes you say he keeps having heart? Like, I mean, not that I doubt you, but I'm curious, because Like, the first time he got demoted was because he fucked up. This time he got hurt. Some guys in 20... Yeah, so... I wasn't watching in 2020. I've seen some, like, clips of stuff. But, like, other sports were the same way. And it's sort of like... Are some of these guys, like... Do they not like performing in front of a crowd? Because, man, y'all picked the wrong career path. Oh, tragedy. Yeah, okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Asano Yama to C+, very reasonable. I think y'all are smart for doing that. Chiyoshoma. Yeah, that's... Do we vote? Yeah, let's put that... Let's vote on this. So what do we got? C- or D? What's up, Seba? If I'm saying that right, which I'm probably not. Pronunciation not my thing, especially the word pronunciation. Also, Chiyo Shomyu, low-key gonna be on a shirt. I don't know when, relatively soon. We actually have a new shirt up, but I didn't advertise it at all because we've got a twin shirt with it that's still in the creation process. So, but they're fun. Like, if you check out the store, sumospiffy.com, you can see the one that's up there. And when you see it, I'm not even going to say what it is, but if you go see it, you can figure out what the pairing is going to be. And it's, the one that's up there is so good, and the other one's going to go up as good too. Oh, I guess that was a secret. Sorry. Hee. Seba. Oh, good. Okay. I've been doing the live streams for... So I did the tier list for a while just on my own, and then I had the community put in picks. And then after that, I started having a creator do it. I think the community, it was the end of last year. It might have been September, so I guess this would be like a year. Because that's what this is for, right? The community tier list. I see a year or a little bit less. You have the Floofy shirt. We didn't sell too many of those, and it's sad because the art on that is so good. Do you like it? Did it turn out well? Like, Printful has good quality stuff, but I'm always curious, like, I want to make sure, like, if people get stuff that they thought the quality was as good as it's supposed to be from them. New jobs? I've seen... Yeah, Pura. Yeah. What is new... I've seen... And... New Jabes mentioned, and I don't know what that is. And everyone should have done that, because that art is so good. Like, you should have seen the look on my face when Yuria showed me the final version. I was like, God damn. Alright, it's looking like D tier for Chiyoshoma. It's a good thing I did the poll, huh? Chiyoshoma goes to D tier. Well, I mean, we needed to fill out that D tier a little bit, so fair enough. Yeah, he's not... What? Hang on. So Yuria wants to make a comment. We'll allow her to do this.
Thank you.
I assume it's 50-50 to be about Pokemon, but we'll find out.
It is not about Pokemon.
Well, I mean, surprises.
Oh my god. Thank you for the support on the Sumo Kittens art. Yeah, I'm working on the second half of the shirt that's currently up that we haven't talked about yet. The art and I fought for a little bit, and then the art won. It's the best way to put it. So I'm working on that, and then I'm hoping to get maybe not next up, but I'm hoping to get more of I think it was Purr and Toby art. Yeah, Purr and Toby art. I have a specific design I want to do for them. So yeah, thank you all. Many heart emojis. For those of you who don't know, I'm Yuria Tames in the chat. I'm the one who does the art. But
you know, when you go back to your computer, you could just put the heart emojis.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Fuck you.
Nice. Wearing the merch during the stream. Maximum support. I'm all for it. Right. Chiyoshoma D tier. Right. Let's go on. Wakano Show. Okay, C+. That's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I mean, he did well last time. I probably got a little too optimistic with B tier, I admit. He did struggle a little bit more than I expected, but he's just so violent. Like, I mean, he don't give a fuck about your health. He is just gonna hit you. He's gonna hit you, and it doesn't matter what happens to you. This is his career, and he's going all out with it. Like, I mean, you can be a fan of it or not, but I just watch that and I'm like, this guy is gonna just keep winning until someone can stop him. Bug Zero? I mean, using the Sumo Kittens mugs as displays is perfectly reasonable. Like, I probably would never use one because I would be afraid of staining it, which is sort of not useful with a mug. And I don't know how to scroll down again. Son of a... Oh, sorry, Maria. Anyway, Wakano Show, C+. Matakeumi, C-. Yeah, like, how many times? 5 straight 7 or 8 win tournaments. Like, where else do you put him? Wakano Show versus Fujiryoga is how sumo should look. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd want all sumo to look like that because these guys would have 2-year careers, but I definitely enjoy those matches, and we're gonna get it again. Like, they will fight this time. Oh. Although I mean, that's a great fight, but like, I gotta admit, there was a little bit of joy watching Wakano Show just beat Kinbozan into submission. Just boom. Boom goes the dynamite. Like, it's weird because he's certainly got better control and balance than Gonoyama, and he's like more aggressive, and yet he didn't do any better than I would expect Gonoyama to do at the bottom of the division. But I think he's just got to figure a few things out. I think he'll be fine. But we're on Matakayumi. Matakayumi will do fine. Like, Matakayumi will be perfectly okay. Or he won't, and we'll all be wrong. Anyway. Asahakuru. Okay, we've got a damn near split vote again. And this one makes perfect sense. Whoops. So, 7-9 wins or 6-8. The poll is up. And like, now that I know about his injury, honestly, if I knew about all the stuff that was going on with him physically going into the last tournament, I might have gone C+ with him. Because it was, well, I don't know if I would. Because like, guys get hurt and they struggle because they're injured or they're less than 100% physically. But like, I guess the question is, was his inability to get anything done offensively after the first few days because he just couldn't physically do it, or because he was sort of mentally beaten because doing it was difficult? Because he looked like he had nothing for anybody. And that's probably where the line is between, like, whether he's going to do a little bit better or a little bit worse. Yeah, I wish I had known that. I probably would have gone a little bit more positive with him. Oh well. It is what it is. Faith in the bounce back. Yeah, fair. Like, I think the real question is, like, how's he going to do against the guys around him? Here's the other part. At Maegashira 12 East, he's going to fight to the bottom of the division. And, like, Onokatsu, Kazuma, Daiseisan, and Asakiryu, even as brain dead as Daiseisan has looked, that is a scary bottom four. That is a beatdown level bottom four. Like, you don't want to end up in that Maegashira 11 to 14 range and be looking at those guys below you. That is rough. If he's healthy, it'll tell us more than May did. I agree. Although if he says, like, if he does any interviews and says he's feeling 100% and he does poorly again, that'll tell us something too. But I assume he'll do better. I assume he's not going to go 5-10 again. It's just how much better. He does look kind of like, you know, I think this last Basha was the one time he looked really older and tireder than Tamawashi. When he was going on his losing streak in his debut too. Like, when things are going poorly, he seems to just, like, he seems to exacerbate the situation mentally. Like, he seems to not lose focus, but like lose belief that his style will work. Because as much as it's like the better wrestler should usually win, and that is basically true, in a contest that is over so fast and is determined by split-second reactions, losing a little bit of confidence can actually make a difference. And that seems like what is happening. Can he get past it? I hope so. Oh, Asahakuryu is definitely better than Daiseisan, but the guy who's better isn't always the one who wins more. Alright, so that's looking like a C- for Asahakuryu. That C- line getting a little lengthy, although not too bad. We're not to the second line yet. Abi! Oh. That's a split, kids. That's a three-way vote. Can't do it any other way. And it's generally positive. That's, like, at this rank, it should be. But at the same time, he looked so bad. Well, I mean, there's still a good chunk of votes for D tier, so I can't say it's all positive. Like, if you look at this line, like, a little over half the votes are for B or C+, and then there's a handful for better. So, okay, it's still leaning positive. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. The last time he was this low, he destroyed. But, and this is where the complication comes in terms of, like, opponent difficulty, being rank 8 and being rank 12 isn't that different. It really depends on who ends up around you, especially because, like guys ride the yo-yo, you could end up easily with a tournament where the mid ranks are weaker than the lower ranks. And you could certainly argue that that's the case here as well. If you're questioning Wakamoto Haru's fitness, then from 6 to 8 you've got Shodai, Roga, you got Tobizaru at 9, we don't know what's going on, Takayasu and Wakamoto Haru who are health questions, but at the bottom, you've got Takerufuji, who is dangerous if wounded, Onokatsu, Kazuma, Daiseisan, and Asakoryu. So, like, being a lower rank doesn't necessarily mean he should do better. In general, in general, it's true, but not always. I would say Abi's health is in this case more important than his rank. And we don't know what his health is. Like, his elbows looked actually strong enough to get work done when he was at this rank, and that could have been a coincidence. I guess we'll see. Oh, C+ is destroying this poll. Okay, that's... Yeah, I mean, generally positive for Abi at this rank is probably correct. Like, but we don't know exactly where he's gonna end up. That actually makes a lot of sense, because if he pops off and goes up the ranks in his scheduling, he's probably gonna get mollywopped by the tougher guys. Nishikifuji, C-. I mean, without knowing his health condition, yeah. Like, this is one of those ones, I almost put him at C- because I don't know how healthy he is, but like I said in the tier list video, his health either, if it's good, he does really well. And if it's not, he does really badly. So, like, I avoided a C pick for that reason. I was like, well, that's probably just landing on the numbers where he's not going to hit either way. But when we've got a large group of people voting, that's obviously we're going to go more towards the average. Takerufuji. Oh, well, this split is not surprising. Takerufuji. 8 to 10. 7 to 9. Or 6-8. Gotta make it three-way this time. Let's see what we get. I don't understand. So, like, Yoshinofuji tore a ligament in his foot. He fought through it and then he got surgery. Why isn't Takerufuji getting surgery on his arm? Because it's a torn biceps tendon. I understand it's easier to fight with an upper body injury than a lower body one, but dude, you are a force of nature at full health. Get fixed. What the hell? Like the long term, even if you're just looking at it as a like a pay, like a salary, like an income sort of thing, being okay in high Juryo and low Makuuchi is going to be way less profitable in the long run than even getting surgery and dropping out of Juryo for a tournament, maybe even two, and then coming back but being able to stay at least mid Maegashira. What up, Aqua? Yeah, like even going 11-4 in Juryo was not. It didn't look for 11-4. It didn't look great. Like some of the ways that he beat guys, I don't know who he's gonna beat in Makuuchi that way. Like scooping under the arms and then just kind of pushing back. Most of the guys in Makuuchi, he might beat Matakayumi that way because sometimes Matakayumi is vulnerable to that. A few other guys, perhaps, but most of them are mobile enough and willing to be mobile enough that they're not just going to let him do that. I haven't seen him get many good pushing wins, and pushing is how he won the Yusho. So, like, this one's hard to say. And we've got, like, a very close split between all three options on the poll. Takeru is either going to keep doing great or hit the Makuuchi wall. And see, this is something that, like, usually when we talk about hitting the wall, like when you go up a division, it's for guys who are new to that division. Takerufuji's been there, done that. So what is the wall for him? Like, I'm not saying like that's not a good way of looking at it. I actually think it is because he's a different wrestler now. But because he has that experience, but now he's working with his body in a different shape, what does that end up looking like? I think that's sort of a unique to him question. Holy cow. B and C plus are tied, and C minus is not that far behind. We have not had a three-way vote this close in a while. Yeah, he looked so much worse than his win record. He looked more like the guy who's been going 8-7 than the guy who just went 11-4 while going 11-4. How do you do that? That shouldn't be possible. All right, C plus is pulling ahead. B tier was a little ahead in the poll, or in the form, but it looks like we're going with C plus for Takerufuji. Honestly, I think chat may have just saved the community a little bit of trouble here. If Takerufuji goes 10 wins, I'm gonna be very impressed. Like, he would have to go back to being something like old Takerufuji, and he doesn't seem physically capable of that. Army, he got figured out by the higher ranks. I think old Takerufuji would still stomp face at the lower ranks. We actually never saw him at the lower ranks post-injury, though. So we don't really know what to expect from him down at Maegashira 13. He hasn't been at this level since he won the Yusho, which is another curiosity. Kinbozan. Ooh. Well, this is C+ or C-. Nope, not that. I hope those of you who cared were happy with my pronunciation of simulacrum in the video. I made sure to get that one in there just for you. I do... This is not a defense of saying it wrong, but I'm just going to note that most of our D&D group thought it was simulacrum, and were very surprised to find out that was incorrect. So, like, this is apparently a common error. I don't know if you need film on Kinbozan. Like, I'll go into a slightly more detail. Like, I'm writing his part of, well, I'm getting up to his part of the Kisei breakdown in the script. The script will hopefully be done today. But, like, when he was succeeding, he was literally hitting dudes in the neck. Like, he was doing nodoas. Like, he was hitting them in the throat. And ever since, like, you see him push the face, but it's not quite the same. I'm not entirely sure why he changed. I have my ideas. That'll be in there. But, like, when he's so long and he's so, like, he's got such strong arms. I almost said he's so long and so strong, and I didn't want anyone doing Baby Got Back. He's got those long arms, and if he pushes your head straight back by the throat, that is tough to deal with. But he just doesn't do it. I assume, like, it got picked off by parries just often enough that he didn't want to take the chance anymore. But, like, if it works, just find a way to make it work, man. Because what you're trying to do now ain't it. Simulacrum? No, that, even if it's technically simulacrum, I'll never say it that way because that feels too weird. I'll go with simulacrum. I'll accept that one. But that's simulacrum that feels wrong. That just feels like, have you ever heard of, like, mouth feel? There's bad mouth feel. Kinbozan C-. C- absolutely crushes this poll. Five more to go. Shishi. Shishi is C-. We're going to take a lesson from Oho earlier. When there was this kind of split, C- crushed, I got to figure the same thing's going to happen here. Shishi goes to C-. Now, this probably depends on the health of his shoulder. He should do better than this if he's healthy, but we don't know if he will be. Which is something we say at least a dozen times during the tier list. But it's very true here. Like, I had no idea he had a shoulder problem last time until informed after the fact. Makes sense now, but, like, I still don't know what the shoulder injury was. I don't know what he was getting the painkillers for. Like, what was the actual injury? Salmon. Salmon feels weird too. It's not truck. There's no way. Okay, I know I'm getting away from the sumo a lot here, but there's no way. Truck. Are you kidding me?
Truculent.
No, no, unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Oh, that's so... That, oh. Anyway, sorry for going off on a tangent, Shishi fans, but like, that... Some things are just more important than sumo. Just so I don't, like, spin this definition and like, bias it. Someone who is aggressively defiant, easily annoyed, eager to fight. So, like, a douchebag. It's a douchebag. So, Shishi, either 6 or 15 wins. I think that's where we're at. Let's move on to Onokatsu. Okay, well, that's a split, too. Onokatsu. Another C+ or C-. Yeah, that's true. Like, Yuria and I, Maria, I don't know if you've had the same experience, like, as being writers. There's plenty of words I saw before I ever heard them. And most of them I pronounced correctly. But, like, some of them... Let's look, let's just be honest. It's not that my pronunciation of truculent is wrong, it's that truculent... It's the official pronunciation is wrong. Because that's dumb. That's a terrible way to say that word. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. That's... I'm getting into the weeds on this shit. But Maria, like... So I was actually gonna listen to one of your podcasts like this week, and I just got busy, but so now I have to ask because I don't know. Like, do you podcast with an audience, or is it just like the two of you? Because if it's just the two of you, you can go off on all the tangents you want. When I was on with New to Sumo, like, that was like the longest podcast they have, and they cut like a half hour of material. I'll be Trucelian about language, sure. God damn it, Grandma. That was good. I gotta give that to you. Finishing one tangent is just a sign he's about to start the cotangent. That is... that's a slow clap for me. Oh, okay, during live streams. All right. No, I mean, I get that. I'm actually like... So usually these streams run about 3 hours, and we're like well past that already. So I'm sort of like knocking down the tangents just because I feel like this is never gonna end. And I want everybody to be here to get what they're here for, which I think is mostly the tier list. Anyway, Onokatsu, oh my god, it's 50-50. We need more votes. English is more than 3 languages in a trench coat. Like, it's so many more than 3 languages in a trench coat. Like, what? There's original English, like oldie English, because of course you say O-L-D-E, oldie. That's just how that works. Then there's French. Then there's, like, there's some German words in there. And if it was just those 3, you could say it's 3 languages in a trench coat. But, like, we've got some Spanish in there for sure. We've probably got some Scandinavian languages in there that I just don't even know about. I'm just assuming. It's got to be at least a half dozen. It's a very big trench coat. All right, Onokatsu, C-. Damn. Like, Jason had me on the F tier, but wow. Like, no hope for this guy. No hope for Onokatsu except for me, apparently. Like, I mean, okay, the 19 people who voted, the 21 people who voted more positively, whatever. Like, I feel like I'm missing something. I think I might be the one who's wrong here. Like, it feels like he should absolutely have a winning record, but I also saw him fighting literally on his heel because he couldn't put his foot down. I think I might have made a mistake here. Oops. Yeah, like, B tier seemed correct and now I'm just questioning it. Kazuma! B tier. Like, this is... I don't know if I've ever seen this. B tier had 40 votes, C plus had 18, but C minus had 27. I don't know if I've ever seen a tier finish third between 2 other tiers and it's not even close. That's wild. I think it happened once before. But Kazuma to B tier, like, that definitely won. Man, y'all are either, oh, he's gonna do it, or, oh, he's definitely not. Now, what I wonder is, how many of the people in each group really saw a decent amount of him? And how many are more going on reputation? Because I'm sort of curious if the people who are like, oh, look, he's done so well, I guess he just will keep doing it, voted high, or if the ones who saw him trucking dudes are the ones who voted high. Bro coming up from Juryo mainly on his size. Well, yeah. And that size is probably going to keep doing work. Like, it is hard to move 450 pounds of aggressively forward moving dude. Ooh, if he survives in Makuuchi, it only proves how weak Makuuchi is. Did you watch this man fight? 'Cause he just ran through guys. Like, he had a horrible start in Juryo. First tournament, 1-4. Terrible. You take out that start, and you look at the 40 matches after that, and he's 29-11. Like, I mean, he's on it. His forehead grows with every soul, he claims. Oh my god. I don't know if that's a reference to something or if you just pulled that one out of the ether, but either way, damn. Okay, we got Kazuma at B tier. Daiseizan. I mean, this is fair. Okay. Daiseizan. Glory to China. I mean, the dude's got almost equal votes for 6 or fewer wins as he does for 8 to 10 wins. That is amazing. That is genuinely amazing. Like, the biggest chunk of the chart is D tier. That's pretty bad. But, like, he's got a decent number of people thinking he's gonna pop off. I don't think he's gonna pop off. I think he's gonna do fine. Yeah, like, you have so much more confidence in everyone else in the bottom 10 that someone's going to be wrecked, so him. I can't argue that at all. I mean, he should get pounded out sideways. It's just, when he's on, he can beat a lot of people. I think I put him at C+ because I had to have a spicy one. I think I was feeling like I needed a spicy pick. Oh my god, C+ is annihilating this poll. Did I, like, catch everybody in China before they go to bed? Is that what's happening here? Hatsuyama was not built for this. He needs to put on another 20 pounds, and then he'll do work in Makuuchi, but I don't even know if his body can do it. I mean, that's C+. I mean, that's not even close. In an absolute stonker of an upset, the form goes D tier, but the chat goes C+ for Daiseizan. That's incredible. This is a middle finger. We need somebody, if we had somebody in F tier, this would just be a middle finger. And finally, Asakoryu. Oh, hey, we get to do a vote for the last guy. That's always fun. I know he's like a couple of the other guys, but since we're on the last person, I'll just do a vote anyway. They're small. Wow, that is That is a big coffee cup. The way you usually have coffee becomes candy in this cup. Hey. We like unexpected bonuses. Hell yeah. The F tier button was blanked out for this one because not enough people voted. Only 5 people said F tier for Asahoryu. Also, like, I hope you just have doubts in his knee health, because if he's anywhere near full strength, he should do a lot better than 6 wins.
Primary control of critical vehicle function.
I am not popular enough to have my polls get botted. Oh, so X-Takake, what is he now, Minatogawa? Like, if he didn't get another coach to help guys with belt work, he'd be fundamentally undercutting his own ability to be a good coach. Because no one should, yeah, like, understanding your own weaknesses is a good idea. And there's no way he should ever try to teach anybody belt work. Like, what he should teach about the belt is, the belt is important, but my arms were too short to get there, so I'm gonna have to introduce you to this other guy to show you how to do it. Kyoku Kayuto? Oh, that's just, you missed a space. That's fine. I thought you were like goofing with his name. Kyoku Kayu. I don't think Kyoku Kayu goes. I don't think he's got it. Yoshinofuji, he should be a lot closer. Like, where's he at now? I didn't even see where he was on the Banzuke. He's Juryo 4. He should be higher, because he shouldn't have, I mean, he's where he pretty much should be based on how he did, but he should have had more wins last time. Like, he had some dumb losses, but he's clearly good enough to get there. Like, if you're saying by January, so that, like, he is put in Makuuchi after the November Basho, I think it's going to be very disappointing if Yoshinofuji's not there. If you mean in time for November, he should get there, but I guess maybe he doesn't. Kyoku Kayu, unless he hits his 8 and 7 this Basho, if he drops it all, I don't know. He could do it. But I have a lot less hope for him in Makuuchi than I do for Toshi. Like, he's done so well, but he just... I have to look at him closer, but everything about how he fights is like, I don't know how you're winning this much. Oh yeah, if Ura gets his own stable, I'm sure he's gonna be smart enough to not be like, why can't you just limbo under that guy's push? Like, I'm 42 and I can do it, watch. Oh god, if Ura became the sumo chairman? There are so many things that would be fun to see Ura do as part of the sumo establishment, but like, I think he'd be too locked down. And I think he's so popular, he probably could just do a lot better for himself. Maybe stay as a coach, but not but sort of like working outside that system. Anyway, C+ for Asahoryu, wins by quite a bit. All right. That's the community tier list for July 2026. We got A+'s, Hoshoryu, Kirishima, Aonishiki. A- for Onosato and Wakatakakage, which are also the two main question marks as to whether they'll even compete. Our winners, Yoshinofuji, Hakunofuji, Takayasu, Fujiryoga, and Kazuma. D tiers, Takanosho, Shodai, and Chiyoshoma. No F tiers. And then everybody else is C plus or C minus, which, that's how it goes. No, there's 10 to 12s. A plus is 10 to 12. Hoshoryu, Kirishima, and Aonishiki are 10 to 12. There's no 12 pluses. I mean, 12 plus wins is kind of like... That's sort of saved for the Yokozuna, or somebody who's about to get there, and like, we all know it. And given the health status of the Yokozuna, I'm not surprised nobody's in S. I haven't put anyone in S enough for a little bit. The overlay is off? What happened? Oh, that's right, because I scrolled it. Alright, hang on. Yep, setting it back. Alright. I forgot about the overlay. There we go. Got it back. No, I scrolled it to just put tier list maker on the screen, but I didn't need to do that. No, this is correct. This now it's right. My bad. So yes, this is it. Everything I just said, but now it actually shows correctly on the screen. Okay. Decently long, like longer stream than usual, but I have had fun. I hope you have had fun as well. That's gonna do it for now. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your Saturday, or if you're up super late in another part of the world, Sunday. And other than that, I will see y'all soon. Good night.